Okay, what's going on, everybody? My name is Mangg, and another week has gone by. Sands of time, so on and so forth, cliches and whatnot. Yeah. So I guess I'm just gonna play some Duelist because I didn't get to a Duelist video this week. It's been a little while, so there you have it. Yeah, so this week, as far as the channel went, was very much just the cyberpunk week, I guess. That's how you'd put it. We had Deus Ex. We had some videos of that, which was good. I wonder if they fixed this. Probably not. Oh no, they did fix it. So we had the Deus Ex, which was good. I'm liking that game. I enjoy it. Then we had okay, yeah. So the Deus Ex, I started Shadowrun Dragonfall, which, I only got one episode of that in. I was planning on doing more, but, you know, shit happens. And I'm probably gonna switch characters for that for the rest of the videos. Then what else did we do? We started Hacknet, which is kind of an interesting little hacking game that we'll be getting to more of pretty soon. Although it didn't get great reception, so I don't know if anybody's actually interested. It might be better off just me playing on my own. I don't know. Like I don't know. I just go into things. I just make a video and we see how it goes. So it's not a big deal. But what are you gonna do? And then last Sunday, we did the kind of Shadowrun episode 0 where I went through my character and I talked about Shadowrun and all that. And then I did 3 more episodes talking about the Matrix and how combat works, which even I thought was a little excessive. But if people are interested, then people are interested. It's just kind of how it is. So that was entertaining. Too off. Yeah, I'll figure it out eventually. So yeah, so then tonight we are doing our first Shadowrun episode. Finally, our first session. Believe it or not, we've not played yet. So we will, that'll be exciting. That'll be real exciting. I'll probably do another Shadowrun related video sometime next week. It'll probably be related to like shopping, as in it'll be related to all the amazing cool things you can buy and characters you can make and stuff like that. So that'll probably be like a really interesting video, just from if you're into like sci-fi and stuff like that. Because I'll probably geek out quite a bit during that episode. So that'll be good. And then there'll be more Deus Ex, more Shadowrun Dragonfall, more Cyberpunk next week. Don't worry. Not done yet.
Hold on. This is intricate shit.
Yeah, so that's good. I mean, Cyberpunk is one of my favorite kind of genres of fiction, even though, really, I don't know how much of Shadowrun is even cyberpunky. It's just kind of like postmodern life. So, it's cool though. It's really cool. I mean, this week I did so much reading. I mean, I'm not a slow reader, and I like to read, so when I get into something that has, you know, something like this that just has a lot of info related to it and things that I can kind of chew through, it's just like, oh man, there's so much to do. So yeah, most of my free time throughout the whole week was just reading about Shadowrun stuff. I mean, half of it was kind of like mechanics, so that, you know, I like to be the guy that knows most of the rules, just because. So I mean, the combat video, I read through all the combat stuff a whole bunch, and I wanted to make sure that was all good. But even, I mean, the combat video was like over an hour long, and I still just left out a lot of stuff because I didn't want to go into detail, or I forgot a couple things, and it was just like, ugh. Like, I didn't even mention that, like, if you run past somebody, they can just, like, club you for free. Like, I mean, it's like an attack of opportunity, but I forgot to mention it. So yeah, a lot of time was spent just immersed in Shadowrun, reading about mechanics, reading about the fluff, things that are going on. I mean, I could do a whole bunch of videos just about kind of the Shadowrun universe, like just kind of the fluff stuff. Like how there's, I mean, like vampires and kind of all that kind of stuff, like how that came about, the viruses, the, you know, the human, metahuman vampire virus or whatever it's called. We could do a whole bunch of stuff. But, yeah, maybe I'll do that, maybe I won't. Or like the CFD, the cognitive fragmentation disorder, where it's basically like a bunch of nanites take over a person's brain and they rewrite the personality of the person and they replace it with like an AI. So you just kind of have this shell of a person that's just a host for an AI, and there's like no cure for it, and just kind of sweeping the globe, and it's terrifying people. Like, that's really cool. I don't know if that was in earlier editions, but that is in 5th edition. There's a lot of cool stuff. There really is. I mean, Shadowrun, I mean, I don't want to just turn this into a Shadowrun video, but again, this is just like, it's all in my head constantly. Shadowrun at its core is just kind of you're criminals, you're doing jobs for mega corporations against other mega corporations, and you're going into facilities and you're just kind of messing shit up. Like, that's what it is. But I mean, there's so much more to it. Like, any kind of action movie you've seen, any heist movie, almost anything that's somewhat modern age, that involves action or suspense or thrilling or anything like that, you can kind of make work with Shadowrun. So yeah, I mean, you're going to be running jobs against corporations, you're going to be breaking into facilities, it's going to be intense, stuff like that. But, I mean, you could also take it to other, like, the Shadowrun universe is really kind of varied. To the point of, man, I'm wrecking this guy. Like, you could have a job where, like, a corporation tells you, like, they have, like, an oceanic research facility or something like that. You know, something like, Deep Blue Sea, which is a great movie. And they've been, they have a team out there, but they didn't check in or something. And so they sent one of their own security teams out there to see what's going on, but they never came back. And so you're just sent out there as sort of expendables, basically, to find out what happened, if possible. And if you're not, well, you don't get paid because you're dead, or worse. But if you figure out what's going on, you make it back, then, good. And so it's just kind of, it's just cool, because that just offers a lot of room for creativity from a game master. Because if you're any sort of creative, you can probably think of things that could be going on at this research facility, or you can even go beyond that. You can go to Mars. You could have a run that takes place on Mars or the moon, a lunar base, or you can go out to the wilds of Shadowrun. Like, not everything is just a big city. There's a lot of wild wilderness out there that is not exactly pretty. So there's so much room for creativity. It's a really cool setting. I mean, I really do. I mean, Call of Cthulhu is great because I love the mythos and all that. But as far as just, you know, like a pure setting, yeah. Oh, so anyways, that's what's going on. What else? Hold on. Okay. Yeah, I mean, that's pretty much going to be it. We're going to be doing the kind of the cyberpunk thing for a little while until something big comes out. Which is just kind of like, you know, it's what I want to be doing, so that's usually what I do. I mean, August is coming to a close. I think, well, I guess we're like halfway through the month. And so I do want to get a board manging episode in, which I guess is a good segue into talking about board games. And really, the issue, of course, has always been with board manging is I have to record us playing a board game. I mean, I get to play board games uncommonly enough as it is. So, I mean, if it's at my own house, it's a little bit easier to just it's a little bit easier to just bust out a camera. I mean, it's still weird, but it's kind of like, okay, you know, I'm just going to be recording this, I mean, for a YouTube video, whatever. I'm probably not going to use much of your audio, so don't worry about it. But a lot of times, most of my game playing is done at, like, my sister's house. And it's like, I don't want to lug my tripod, my camera, and set it all up there with her kids. And it's just like, and we don't really even play that many serious board games there as it is. So it's kind of like, So that's the trickiest part. Ziggy did get in his copy, or he was about to, something like that, of the new Age of Empires game, Age of Discovery. It's not a new game, it's the reprint from Kickstarter. So we're going to try and set up an event for us all to play that. And that could be a good recording, so we'll try. It's tricky, though. I mean, if we played a lot on Tabletop Simulator, I would definitely just be recording that. but we don't. So, yeah, I mean, I'm sure I'll do, there'll be more board manging. It's just kind of a question of when it's going to come together. But we did play a good number of board games this week, although the variety we didn't play like, we didn't play like Cosmic Encounter or anything like that. It was a bit lighter fare most of the time. Went over on Wednesday. I went over on Wednesday to my sister's house. It was my sister, me, and my mom. And we decided to just play some games. So I brought over Biblios. And we played that. I like Biblios. It doesn't take too long. It's a bit more involved than For Sale. I've already mentioned this, but it's a solid choice. I recommend it. And we played... What else did I bring for 3? Oh, Five Tribes. Yeah, Five Tribes was our main event. And, yeah, so, I mean, they kind of struggled with Five Tribes, but they kind of didn't really struggle because my mom ended up beating me. And I'm the type of person that I never like to think for too long. Like, during tests or whatever like that, during school, I was always the first person to finish. Like, I just didn't want to ponder things for too long. And I did all right, I think, fairly quickly. And so, board games, you'll never accuse me of taking too long on my turn. It's just, boom, done, go. But a lot of people are not like that. A lot of people take their time. Which is fine. I'm not going to... But, so my mom took her time with Five Tribes. It was like chess. Probably shouldn't be standing here, but I think I'll be okay. But she ended up winning by like 8 points on her first game against me, so I can't refute her methods. It was good. I like Five Tribes. I mean, you guys know I'm not a huge Euro fan, so I don't really like all those kind of thinky, puzzly, mathy games. But Five Tribes works, you know. There's a lot of variety in what you can do. There's I mean, there's effects and things. I mean, you know, it borrows from kind of some Ameritrash aspects, such as, you know, the djinns each have their own special ability and, you know, things like that. It's not, doesn't always feel Euro-y. And so it's good. I like it. Goodbye. Feel the burn. So yeah, I mean, I lost by 8 points, and I don't know if I've ever won Five Tribes, but I still like it. Good, that's important. And then we ended, I think, playing one round of Dead Drop. Dead Drop was a Kickstarter game I got a little while back. It was kind of like Love Letter. Like it's like 15 cards or something like that. Small amount of cards. And it's more kind of Love Letter is just dead simple. Like, anybody can play Love Letter and figure it out. It's mostly kind of luck based. There's not a whole lot going on there. And I mean, it's a big hit. Everybody likes Love Letter. Dead Drop is a bit more kind of deduction based, I guess. You're trying to... There's one card that's at the start of the game. It's put down, face down in the middle. And so the goal of the game is to try to figure out what that card is, basically. And so I'm not going to go into it because I don't like to, but you have a hand of cards that gives you some info about, you know, what the card in the middle is not. So, like, there's only one 5-numbered card in the game. So if you have it in your hand, you know that the card in the middle, the drop, is not a 5 because you have it. But it kind of... It goes down from there. So there's, like, 4 0-numbered cards. So even if you have 2 of them, like, you could guess that it's not, but it definitely could be. You know, so you're trying to... You kind of share cards with other players. And, no, yuck. Yuck. And you're trying to... Yeah, so you can... you don't want to give too much info away. So if you have the 5, you don't want to show other people that you have the 5 because you want them to think it's in the middle. Things like that. It's an interesting little game. We only played 1 round of it because we didn't have a lot of time. But I would play it again. That may have been a better choice. Well, no, not really. When am I ever going to play Heaven's Eclipse? Jesus. So, yeah. So that was Wednesday night. Friday, we went back there. And we played... we got a bit more serious this time. And we started with Ink and Gold, because they really like Ink and Gold, although I don't think I've ever won, because I'm a terrible gambler. And that's basically what it is. Like, I just have impulses. So I can never, like, leave Ink and Gold. Like, it's a push your luck game. I'm terrible at push your luck games, because I never stop pushing my luck. That's basically what it is. Why would I ever stop pushing the luck? The luck's running. You gotta keep it running. So, yeah, I just... Okay, this is a problem. That hurts. Shit. So yeah, I'll never win Ink and Gold, but that's alright. It's not a terrible game, but it's just kind of not good for me because I have impulses. It's like poker. My first hand of any poker game I've ever played, I just go all in immediately. I can't help myself. That's why I don't gamble. But then we switched to Survive. Escape from Atlantis, or whatever it's called. And, this is tricky. Oh, that helps. Survive didn't go over well. I ended up tying for the win, but I don't think cutthroat games are really the best idea for that group. It's one of those things where you just kind of have to gauge your gaming group and see how it goes. Some groups thrive on the cutthroat, and like our normal board game day group with my friends, it's like, yeah, we're gonna rip each other to pieces, and we're gonna be okay. But more family oriented, it can get ugly. People don't always take things lightly, which is unfortunate. But yeah. So my sister got screwed over pretty early on, like second turn or something like that, and she was just kind of soured on the whole experience the entire rest of the game. Okay. that can happen, I guess. So it's not like I'm never gonna play like diplomacy or something with this group of people. And like I really want to try Tom Vassal's game, Nothing Personal, but that's probably not the group to do it because it says nothing personal, but people will take it personally. So, yeah, I mean, it is what it is. I guess I'll just leave it at that. Yeah, so Survive, yeah, I mean, it was alright. It's not my favorite game. Because it is a bit simplistic, but it's not bad. And then we moved on to Quo Vadis. Quo Vadis. Which, I'll leave it. Quo Vadis is... Well, when I first got it, I thought it was going to be basically kind of Chinatown light. Like, it was going to be Chinatown, but in a much shorter amount of time, simpler, but still kind of embracing the whole negotiation thing. It does have negotiation, but I don't think it brings it out the same way that Chinatown does. Like, you can't really play Chinatown and not discuss things. Like the whole game, you're going to be talking. Like, if you're not talking during Chinatown, I don't see you ever winning or even having fun or anything. And just that's what it is. Quo Vadis. It does have negotiation. You can talk. And in some situations, you're probably going to have to. But it's just nowhere near the same. Okay, so that's 6 damage. I need 4 more. That would be... Okay, we got this. Yeah, I mean, most of the game, it's a bit more kind of ponderous, I guess. You're gonna be looking at the board, and you're just gonna kind of be thinking about your move. Chinatown, you're gonna be looking at the board, but you're gonna be wheeling and dealing while you do it. Nothing really compares to Chinatown so far. I mean, yeah, this game was meant to be lighter, and it definitely is. But I would play it again, but it's going to be tough to warrant a situation now where I'd rather bring Quo Vadis than Chinatown. It's just, I mean, Chinatown's not that complicated. Pretty much anybody can get it. Void Hunter. Card draw isn't as insane in this game as it is in Hearthstone. Because you tend to just kind of max out your card. You draw 2, you have a limit of like 6 or 6. So it's kind of different, but yeah. So Quo Vadis was alright. I think I won. Yes, I did win Quo Vadis. Because there's an interesting thing with like negotiation type games that I read at one point, where it's like if you're a 4-player game, and you make a deal with one person where, just kind of simplify it, they get 2 things and you get 1 thing. Seems like a shit deal for you, right? But say you do that same deal with 2 other people. They get 2 things, you get 1 thing. Suddenly, they each have 2 things more than they did, but you have 3 more things than you did. And so, in the end, you win out. And I read that and I was like, whoa. You know, it was like a Keanu Reeves kind of moment. It was, whoa, man. That's some deep shit. So that's kind of something to think about when you're doing negotiations. You want to wheel and deal with everybody. As long as it overall benefits you, if you do enough dealing. Oh man, freaking Oculus would have been so insane. I guess I'm dumb. Ah, it sucks. I gotta play it now, I guess. So yeah, Kovady's not bad. It's a Knizia game. So it's gonna, of course, be a bit more thinky, but not terrible. But Chinatown exists, so. Then we finished with... Actually, that might have been it. I think that was it, because I had brought Captain's Wager, which was another Kickstarter game I wanted to try, but we didn't have time for it, because I then went to Binary, and I'll talk about that in specific later, but, we played a whole bunch of Jungle Speed there. I had brought Jungle Speed, and we had 7 people playing Jungle Speed. It's pretty insane, I promise you. Shit gets real. And we were playing at kind of a rectangular table, so not everything was equidistant. I was at one of the ends, the long ends, because I just have longer arms. But you have to kind of like... The guy at the other end, it's hard to see his shit, you know? Because you need to see it just instantly and recognize it and see if it's a match or not. And so it's kind of like, oh god. It gets intense. I think I ended up winning overall because I was the only person to win 2 games, so it was good. But man, so intense. So intense. Yeah, it was good. It was good. Yeah, we played probably, I don't know, like 7 matches or 6 or 7 matches. It was quite a bit. So that was good. And then the next day, I was at Ziggy's housewarming party, and I had brought some party games. So we played some Spyfall. I finally got to play my physical copy of Spyfall. Thank God. That was a while. And Spyfall's good. I mean, it's a clever game because it just depends on players. I mean, that's where kind of everything comes from. So I guess it depends on your players and how clever they are. If you have people that just kind of flounder around and just don't know what questions to ask and don't know how to answer things, yeah, the experience is probably going to be a little ruined. But overall, we had a lot of fun with it. It's just It's a hilarious game. It's gonna have you laughing afterwards. Spiral Technique, man, the burn, so good. So yeah, we played a few rounds of that, probably 4 rounds, I guess. I was never the spy, which is a bummer, because I actually want to be the spy. 'Cause I think that's more intense. But yeah, it was good. We also played Say Anything. We played a game of that. It's always all right. It's never. I don't think Say Anything is ever going to be the hit of any party. Maybe, I guess it depends on what the other stuff is, but it's just kind of always all right. Lady Locke. That sounds like Disenchant Fair to me. But anyways. And then we ended with more Jungle Speed. We played more Jungle Speed. 4-player Jungle Speed. We played it with like, I mean, it was like 93 degrees yesterday. And Ziggy does not have central air in his house, so it was really warm. We played in the basement where he's got kind of like an air conditioner, so that helped. But it was hot, sweaty, intense Jungle Speed. Yeah, it was pretty nuts. Like, when you have people that all know how to play the game and all know what they're doing, it gets real, man. Like, no other board, card game, whatever gets that intense. Like, it's physical. You could have tournament level shit of this, like an Olympic sport. So yeah, it was good. I don't think I ended up winning any of those games because my buddy Bobby was just like, he was like coked up on like 8 cookies, and he had like, he was like the Flash, man. He couldn't be stopped. It was insane. Whereas just like you flip the card, and before your brain really even processes it, he's already got the totem in his hands, and it's just like, my God. Crazy shit. Crazy shit. But yeah, it's fun. That's a fun thing. For like $12, you really can't go wrong. Yeah. Today we didn't have board game day because Ziggy, well, it was only 3 of us, but I told Ziggy to just spend time preparing for Shadowrun instead, so. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I played a bunch of games this week, although it's not like Twilight Imperium or something, so. Alright, so then Thursday we went to, of course, we went to Applebee's, of course, and it was relatively mundane, although there's apparently a waitress there that looks exactly like Emily Browning in Sucker Punch. Like, I'm not like exaggerating, like, that's exactly who she takes her appearance inspiration from. Like, it could be her preparing for like a role where she works as a waitress at an Applebee's in Wisconsin. Like, I'm not kidding. It's intense. So that's where my attention was. One of my friend's brother was in town for like a wedding, and so he came with us, and he invited a couple of his friends along, and that was kind of weird. Because it was basic, like, I was right in the middle. I was sandwiched between this group where I had a couple of my friends on my left and this kind of weird group on my right. Man, that's such a good removal. That's, oh man. I guess that's polymorph, but no, it's polymorph, but it gives you the sheep. That's ridiculous. And so I was just sandwiched in the middle, and I didn't want to talk to either of these groups because they were just talking about bullshit. Like, in my left ear, I was hearing a conversation about beer pong. In my right ear, I was hearing a conversation about beer pong. No joke. So yeah, I didn't care for that. He's just gonna hit that if I don't buff it. Buff this. So yeah, it's not really great. And the guy's friends were a little strange. They looked like they were like 35 or something like that. The one guy was like, he seemed like if Dick Van Dyke and one of the guys from King of the Hill had a kid, that would be this guy. I'll let you have the mental picture. But and then the other guy looked like just like a 36-year-old skateboarder. It was strange. It was all strange. But yeah. Friday, as I said, we went to Binary, and mostly we just played a lot of Jungle Speed. There was there's a new bartender there that doesn't look like a female version of any of my friends. And she looks I don't even know. I don't want to insult her because I have no. That's not what I'm trying to say. She looks like completely normal, is what I want to say. Which it seems so strange to say something like that. I mean, I want to say average, but that seems a bit insulting. I guess nice would be the word. Like, she's not ridiculously hot or anything like that. She's kind of normal looking and she's friendly. Milk toast, maybe, although that's a bit insulting, isn't it? I don't know what I'm trying to say. You're probably getting the idea of what I'm trying to say, as usual. But, yeah. So, if we weren't playing, like, 8 rounds of Jungle Speed, I probably would have chatted with her a little bit. But Jungle Speed takes precedence, unfortunately. That actually didn't help me. But okay. So yeah, I don't know. She seemed friendly, although it's her job to be friendly. I always assume every girl's into me because I'm a guy, but who knows? I wanted to go back there Saturday night, but we didn't do anything Saturday night, so maybe next weekend. If she's not gone, because this Binary place apparently just laid off a bunch of their employees, including a friend of ours who was the cook. He was fired for having a bad attitude, like B.A. Baracus. So, who's to say? So yeah, Saturday was the Ziggy's housewarming party, and I said there was going to be a bunch of chicks there. There really wasn't. There's not a bunch of chicks there. Let's clarify. Jesus, is that a death? 14-19. That's close, man. That's too damn close. There are basically 2 chicks there, you know, excluding like Ziggy's wife and the old women. That's awesome, but it doesn't actually help me. This does 6 damage, which is not enough. We'll have to leave it at that. So basically 2 chicks there. One is a girl that I've already met, and some of you may remember me mentioning her when I helped Ziggy move to his current house. She helped us move as well. This was the girl that called me, like, a freak, I think, because I didn't want to pet a dog. That's this girl. And then there was another girl that didn't show up till I didn't even get to say anything to her, so I have no idea. She wasn't bad looking, and she understood the value of short shorts. But, yeah. And so the other girl, though, like, I'm sitting there with, like, you know, all the guys. I'm sitting there with my group of friends. Wow, I actually didn't get the spell that I needed. Jesus. That's bad. Well, if he buffs this, I'm dead. But he used a whole lot of those Soul Shatter. And I guess I'll throw this out there. Great. So I'm sitting there with, you know, my group of friends. We're all out there, outside, sitting there. And this girl just saunters out. She sits down. And she's like, "Oh, hey, Adam. How you doing?" I'm just like, that's odd. I mean, I know she's met me, but I thought she must have met some of these other people. How could she not have? But I guess maybe she already said hey to them. I don't know. It just seems so weird. I'm like, you know, I'm okay. And I was sitting in the shade. I was sitting in the shade, which was very valuable. Because I said it was like 95 degrees. So I'm like, well, I'm in the shade. She's like, yeah, I see that. I'm going to have to take that chair from you. And I'm like, well, you can try. She's like, you see these shoes I got on? I could take you. And I'm like, it's worth a shot, I guess. It was weird, man. And then later on, she was like, we were all downstairs, and I guess she was coming down to use the bathroom. And she said something about cute. She said, use the word cute for something on her way down to somebody else. And I was just like, oh, thank you. And she comes around the corner and she's like, oh, thanks. And I'm just like, what? And she like heads for the bathroom and she's like, I don't know why I said thanks. And I'm like, okay. So yeah, she's a weird girl. And she's one of those girls that, I told this to Ziggy. I'm like, one of those girls where if she asked me out, I would probably agree. Just because, you know, why not? She's not ugly. But I don't think I would ever ask her out because she kind of intimidates me. And Ziggy's like, well, it's probably because she has, like, thoughts and opinions about things. And I'm like, yeah, that's pretty intimidating. I'm used to girls that just kind of take my order, and that's it. That's kind of where it ends. Or I'm used to girls like the Huntress that just are bimbos, pretty much. So yeah, but she moved recently. She lives like an hour and a half away, so I doubt that's gonna happen. Yeah, actually, that's kind of it. We're coming to a close here. Yeah, I guess. So, again, this week you can look forward to a bunch of cyberpunk stuff, more Deus Ex, Shadowrun, Dragonfall, with a bit of a different character. It's more just combat focused. Maybe Hacknet. I mean, I would like some, like, I got no comments on the first video, which I usually don't take as a good thing for a first video of something. Actually, no, I did get one comment from Ren telling me that I fucked up. So if anybody wants to chime in with their thoughts on that, I would appreciate it, because I'm not sure if I'm going to continue that or not, because I have a lot of things I can do otherwise. And then, of course, more Shadowrun stuff for those that are interested. If anybody's not into Cyberpunk, not a great time to be a Mangg fan, but what can I do? I'm sorry. Alright, so, yeah. Board Games and Babes, as always. That's probably what I could name this show. But you are hanging with Mangg, and I'll see you fine folks next week.